Hi, I'm Debbie and welcome to Mayflower's Demo Day. I'm a team member at the Stitch and Den, and I'm going to ask you to mute until after the demo, and then you can pipe in, but you can also respond on the chat room if you want to. Paula is going to list the links of the products that I talk about, so you'll find those at the bottom. And if you can't find something, you're welcome to call. If you can't find something on the website, you're welcome to call the shop and we can help find it. And the person that's going to follow me is going to be Bobby with her washcloths. And I believe Bobby's a recording, right? Mm-hmm. Yep, Bobby will be recording. And I guess I jumped ahead to the end instead of the beginning there. So my scrap flowers, I enjoy all the fibers that we have here at the Stitch and Den. And one of the things that excited me when I took this job is I'm a quilter, but then I walked into the yarn shop and I went, oh, I can play. And so I'm going to talk about my Friday Friends of Fiber that's coming back in June after the demo, but I like mixing things up when I have time to play. So today I'm going to show you how to make the the scrap flower. Scrap blooms. I'm sorry, I named it. Now I can't remember what I named it. But this was the one that I made originally for the first Friday Friends of Fiber. But today I'm going to make a few little different changes in it. I'm going to start with the fat quarter, and I've already folded it in half, and I've sandwiched a piece of batting in between there. Now I've just started with my walking foot and just done some crazy, this way you're not trying to make straight lines, you're just doing curvy lines. So I'm going to finish this up real quick here. Switch cameras. Okay, Paula's going to switch and get it on my hands. Oops, I've got my handy little clip here. Got this guy. So I have a free hand system if you're wondering how this foot keeps rising and falling. So I'm just going to do some stitching here, and I'm not going to try to be straight. I'm just going to curve it around. And this is when the freehand system comes in. So if you have one, you definitely would probably want to use it. So I'm spacing this out to about, okay, I'm spacing this out to about 1 inch. And I'm doing this. This also works really well if you're doing a small quilt, if you're doing placemat. It's an easy way to quilt, and it's a very modern look. I may end up sewing this cord in. See how fast this is going? It doesn't take much time. Anyway, I'm going to stop here, show you what I've got done, and then I already have one finished. So you can see how it's just some really fun lines. I think, sorry, really fun lines. I didn't know which camera was on there. Very modern. So I'm going to start with my base here. I've got to change my walking foot out. I'm going to put my free motion in. And I'm going to lower my feed dogs. In a minute, if I run into a problem that things aren't sewing right, that's because I forgot to put my feed dogs back down. Everybody knows what your feed dog purposes are. If you lower them, these are your feed dogs right here. And when I dropped them down so that I will have control of where I'm stitching instead of the feed dogs pulling it along. So I took this color work cotton batik. Can I put it up here? Sure. Can you switch me to this one? Okay. Yeah. This is an ombre. It's got 3 different shades here in this. So I took this and I just snip it. And if Susan's around, you can almost hear her cringe when I do this. And I tear it. And for this project, I actually did starch it before I start playing with it because of the curling in it. It's going to end up just balling up for the petals. So I starched one right here. And I'm going to start with my dark end. And now back down onto my hands, please. And I'm going to put this kind of in the center of this. Now I'm going to go back and trim this when I finish. You could use this for a postcard. You could make 9 of these and make it into a pillow if you wanted to. You could do it in an art quilt. So you see how I have a loop here. And that's one thing about using batiks is that you get the front and the back of your fabric going in the same direct or in the same color tone. So I'm just doing a little crazy stitch there. I'm going to put my needle so it'll stop down. And so I'm keeping that area that I have right here under the needle, and I'm folding back my next flower. And see how the color's changing with this ombre fabric that we have? We have this in different shades too. We have a nice little pastel line of it. Just enough to hold it. Needle stops, fold it again. And I'm kind of pushing that up into my needle there. Now this one here, we're kind of keeping in the center. Nope. Got to make sure that you want to make sure you have the curve in it here. If I go like this, it's going to make it just flat. So I want the curve. Pushing it in again. The reason why I'm using a free motion needle is because I'd be having to change my position all the time if I had a foot in. I don't constantly having get moving it like that, but constantly getting it in the right spot. I have this last little piece here, and this time I think I'm just going to leave it down, let it lay down. I've been cutting it off sometimes, and then I think I'll just put a little cut in it here, give it a little decorative ending. So the next thing that I added was I went with some of our DMC cotton embroidery floss. Right here, okay. And I just grabbed a crochet needle, a large crochet needle. It's going to be a lot of crocheting today, isn't it? And slide my needle in and just do a single chain. If you need any help with doing a single chain, you've never crocheted ever, I think almost everybody in the store could help get you started on a single crochet. So I just continued on that until I had a chain that is about 16 inches long. That's the wrong one. That doesn't look lacy. This one does. You see how nice that gives it a nice lacy effect to it? So I'm going to do the same thing I did, except for this time I'm going to try to come out just a little bit farther because we're getting too much bulk under here. And I'm just stitching right over those fibers. And you're going to start going really slow forward and backwards to hold them in. So it's not going to hold in place as well as the fabric held in place because I have all these loops and little pieces. So same thing. And I'm going to go ahead and come out just a bit more here. Instead of trying to stay in the center, I want to expand this a little bit because it gets kind of heavy in the center. I'm going to cut this tail up. I'm actually going to cut the knot part off. Yes, you can see the knot right here. I'm going to clip that. It doesn't take too much and you can get too much bulk in here, and then I'd have to change needles. I'm using a 9014 Schmitz needle. This is actually, I've got a quilting needle in here because I'm going through so much bulk. And I use these colors. I was kind of going for a combine effect because it's spring here in the Rockies. I'm going to be seeing these in another probably, what, month? Well, they should be flowering out real nice. And I've got this little tail here. I'm actually going to make it a small, well, that's not going to show. So I think I'll just cut that one off there. I don't know if you can see what I've got going here. So I've got this layer in here. So I'm going to clip this, and then I'm going to add another layer. Now I wanted the lacy background on this, is why I went with the lace before. So I just took, and everything fell on the floor. Sorry. One second. I just took 2 strands. Waverly wool is one of them, and another one is just a scrap yarn that I had. So I just, again, I'm just making a crochet chain. Put the 2 strands together. And just do a chain again. And for this one, I did the 16 inches again. And I'm going to start close to the knot, and this time I'm going to make it a little bit tighter in. So I'm going to go over all my yarns and back over all my yarns. And this time I'm going to have to make sure I go all the way over there, because I got to cut that knot off again. Can you see the knot right here? So we have a contest going on. Wish you were here. And it's a postcards. And then we also have a pocketed quilt for the postcards. Oh, gotta be careful. So, and you could actually use this method and add this to a postcard. And I'll give you more information on Wish You Were Here in just a moment. Paula actually brought up the samples for me so I can show them to you. So I'm making this one smaller. It's going to be a little bulkier in the center so that all the other flowers can show. Just go slow because you're getting heavy here. You don't want to break your needle. And how do I know did it break your needle? It's because I broke a needle. We always learn better by mistakes. See how I'm just folding that? I'm hoping my fingers aren't getting in your way of seeing this. Slow down. We don't want to break a needle on camera. And just spin it around. I might cut this one off. I think I've got 5 petals there. So this one here will be my last one I'm going to sew on. I kind of do things in odd numbers if possible. I'll go back over it down to here. Should I catch it all? Looks like I caught some threads under here. And some threads up here on the top. I sewed back over my thread here and cut it on the foot. You have to be extremely talented to do that. Usually you learn it before you realize that you've learned it. And so here's your flower. This is where we are so far. I'm going to clip this off. These are your petals. Now I'm just scrappy, so I just like to go with it. And this is part of our chalk and charcoal gold. And I just cut a square out. And the more you do things without patterns, if you want to be free, now, you know, some of us want to be very defined, but if you just want to do stuff free, the more you get used to what your scissors can do and your mind can do and just free cutting, I think it's more fun. But everybody says, oh, I could never cut a circle. Well, this isn't a perfect circle, but it looks like a circle. So when I'm doing this, I have bulk right here. This is pretty thick and bulky, so I don't want to sew over that again. So I'm going to have to sew around it. I got to change my foot real quick first, though. So I'm laying this on here, but I'm going to scrunch it up and make it poofy. See See how I made this one here poofy and all wrinkly? And that way it can handle the bulk underneath it. And I almost forgot that second important thing I need to remember. As soon as I hold my fingers still, I've only got 3 hands because I have my hands free. Knee lift. Okay, I'm going to get my purple thing out. Always have a purple thing close by. Get it under here. And now I'm just going to stitch around in circles, in the circle. Stop. Adjust my fabric so it's still scrunched in. Sounds like I may have a bobbin issue underneath there. Sorry for that noise for just a second. Normally you wouldn't, you'd stop and fix that, but I can continue on here. Maybe. Definitely won't be showing you the back side of this. The good thing about this is that you don't have to show the back side. You can always put another piece of fabric on it on the back side. Doing that. See, it doesn't matter that it's all scrunched up there. We're just making the center of the flower. Purple thing, slide that back under. Oh, I can't wait till our combines start blooming. They're so pretty. Bobbin must have fixed itself. So again, I did the sewed the bobbin, got the thread mixed in here. Caught things. But this is scrappy, so it can have strings coming out, at least until we get it off of here. I think I caught it in my foot. There we go. I'm going to poof this back out, cut the strings off. Now you have a flower. Now, some other things that you could add, I could add some buttons right here. You heard Paula's talking earlier about adding buttons to it. You can cut this out. You could cut this part out in the background here, and you could put it on a pillow, or you could cut these down to like 4.5 or 5 inches, sew them all together, have 9 of them, and put it into a pillow. You cut this back side off here, and you could put a pin through it. Oh yeah, that's bad. Put a pin through it. and you could put it on a hat, or you could put it on a sweater. So that's me. This is something fun. This is what I do in Friday Friends of Fiber. I take our fiber products and I play with other things. So Susan, I'm sorry. Paula's going to switch the camera so you guys can see me again for a moment. I want to talk.
It will not.
It's not on. Well, Paula's getting us going. I am going to stand up. I can do it on the little bun.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay.
I can do that on.
Okay, so I'm going to switch this to me. I need to flip it over to me. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I'm a little higher, thanks.
Is that right? You can.
I'm still higher than that. There we go. Thank you. That works. If I fall off my stool, somebody pick me up, please. Okay, so we have Wish You Were Here postcard contest again. So the quilts that you see behind us are from our last Best of Estes contest. And they can start picking the ones up. We're going to keep our 2 Our first place and our second place will be up here for a few more months, but the other ones can start going home. So if you want to see them, I'd get in here this week. We've already had 2 of them go home. So Wish You Were Here is our new contest. And it's 2 contests, actually. We have one where you can make a postcard. And you have to purchase the kit. And we have 2 kit color combinations to choose from. This one here, you have a fat quarter and a piece of wool, and those have to be used in your postcard for this contest. You can enter up to 5 postcards, and the store price is $50, or well, it's 50 stitches, which is $50 store credit.
900 stitches.
900 stitches. Thank you, Paula. Which comes to $50 store credit for that. And then we have the quilt. Now everybody's been coming in the store and they want the pattern for this. Anne made the postcard pockets on here. So these are little pockets. And for this one, for the quilt, it needs to be 18 by 20 inches. It has to have at least 3 pockets, and they're going to be your design that's on the pockets, not Anne's. And then Cheryl did the quilt back for us. And you're going to use whatever fabrics you want to, except for the fact that you have to include the 2 fat quarters in the kit. And there's also a piece of wool in here. And those have to be visibly, I'm using the wrong word here, but they have to be visibly, they have to show up in the quilt. There we go. 3 pockets. You can make your quilt however you want to. The background part, we took ours, or actually Cheryl, because Cheryl's the one that made it. Got the idea for how to do the backing from our books, Quilting Postcards. And so we have the book on the quilt part, on how to make the larger quilt part. And then we also have books in case you need inspiration on postcards in the store. Very fun, great way to send a card out to people that we've been missing this time while we've been shut down. As we're starting to get out, we might even want to send a card and say, hey, can you come visit? So we have that going on. Let's see, I've got my dates here. They have to be into us by the June 26th. They have to bring them into us, and they have to be in the store on that date. And it will be customer voting with staff voting after if we have to break any ties or anything like that going on. So that is our Wish You Were Here. And again, we have 2 colorways for the postcard, and we have 2 colorways for the quilt that you can purchase the kits from. So now I'm going to talk to you about my Friday Friends of Fiber. It is coming back the first Friday in June at 2 p.m. and it's going to be in person. We have machines in the store, so you don't have to bring your machines. The first one is going to be slashing. So you'll have to, let's see, it's $8 to attend, and you'll receive 2 fat quarters. You won't actually receive them. You can go through the store and choose which 2 fat quarters you want to choose. They don't have to be, you don't have to make a treat, but this is the method I'm going to be teaching you how to do on that day. Very fun. I love doing this. It's you can create all kinds of different illusions in it. Now, as I'm starting back in Friday Friends of Fiber, I am going to repeat some of them, but that's okay. There's always so much to learn. So this is one where I learned how to create my own fabric. So you have a color of fabric that you really need. I want to make sure I got the front of this. And you need a second accent color, and maybe you can't find it in the quilt store. You can take and add your own decorative stitches on it to create your fabric that you needed. All kinds of stuff. I didn't even grab it all. I have stitching with yarn, stitching over yarn to create more pieces for your art quilts. This one here could actually even go on a jacket if you wanted to. Then I started, oh gosh, I can't remember what it's called. Anybody in the audience that remembers what it's called? Felting. Felting with yarn. That's fun. So these are classes that'll be coming up on Friday Friends of Fiber, and you'll be purchasing your kit. The price won't always necessarily be $8, but it'll be somewhere in that area just to cover our supplies. Wrapping. Love wrapping. Great place to put your extra yarns in. And I think that's all I grabbed for my samples, but I do have other things that I have done and new things that I learned. It's about techniques that I learned that I think you might want to experiment with, and all the fibers. Again, when I first was hired on here, I was so excited when I go in the yarn shop. Okay, I'm still excited. I go around and I touch that yarn all the time, but my heart really is with the fabric. Everybody heard that. It's with the fabric. Okay. I want to stay friends with that. And so next coming up is we're going to have Bobby's video with the, sorry, I have to get the paper. We have Bobby coming up and with the dishcloth. And that is going to be at 1 to 1:30. So you're going to have a 15-minute break. I'm not sure what time I'm at right now.
It's close.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're going to have a little 15-minute break
About
there.
20-minute break.
Okay. So grab some lunch and enjoy. At 1:45, you're going to have, oh, this is good. This is Ann and Paula and their favorite things. You know, if they promote it, that means they're using it and enjoying it. And at 2:45 to 3:15, we have Fireside Wildflower Cross Stitch with John. Very exciting. This is a great way to learn a little bit about cross stitch. And then at 3:30 to 4:15, we have Folk Blooms quilt panel with Ann, and that's fabric. I'm pretty excited. So I will be seeing you guys again in August. What date is our next demo, Paula? August?
August.
Oh, I put her on the spot. Yay. In August. It's about the second or third Saturday in August. We'll be back with our demos. And thanks for joining us, and come see us in the store or shop online. Okay.
Any questions?
Oh, yeah,
We
sorry.
should ask if there are any questions.
Any questions? Well, thank you for joining me. Have fun. Always have fun sewing and playing with your fibers. Bye.